Down. What's up, everybody? You are tuned into the 2024 holiday special of the Elks Call, presented by Shotgun Sports Network. My name is Scout, aka the rep from Section X,
And I'm Catherine, aka Do You Even Elks?
and it's the best time of year. We're excited to have everybody tuning in, no matter where you're tuning in from, whether it be YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Edmonton Sports Talk, or wherever you get your podcasts. Really appreciate you joining us today, especially because it's arguably the best show of the year. The
Of
holiday
course.
special is something we kind of came up with last year.
hmm
It wasn't as festive as it will be this year.
No.
We have a bunch of presents.
Lots of giveaways. It's the time of giving.
It's the time of giving. We also have a Saint Nick joining us here momentarily. Uh, it's a huge one this year. We do have the 2024 Most Outstanding Rookie, Nick Anderson, number 48 of the Edmonton Elks, joining us in just a moment. Let's give you all the show lineup is as follows.
hmm
Uh, we're going to open up with a holiday edition of The More You Didn't Know with our guest, Nick Anderson. We're going to talk a little bit about his career, and then we're also going to talk about a little bit of festive stuff, some holiday traditions and whatnot. Going to try to keep it light, although I do have a lot of questions in that
You do.
part of the show. And then next up after that, we're going to have a herd report where Kathy's going to bring you the latest Double E news and transactions. Following that, we're going to have an Edmonton sports update, and then we're going to cap the show with a Festive Fan Forum, where we're going to talk about hot topics with some Christmas flair. We see our folks in the herd chat right now. What up, Marsha? What up, Darren? This show is interactive, so make sure you get your comments and questions onto the show via Facebook Live on the Elks Herd or YouTube Live, which is Shotgun Sports Network. All right, let's kick off the show
Let's do it.
with The More You Didn't Know. Tonight's guest is number 48 of the Edmonton Elks, but you may also know him as the CFL's most outstanding rookie of 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Nick Anderson to the show.
Yay. Welcome, Nick.
Nick, how you doing tonight? Like, how's the off season going so far?
Man, I'm doing great now that you guys have me on. This is the highlight of my day for sure, man. I appreciate you all, bringing me on the show. It's a pretty dope thing that you guys are doing, man, and I appreciate for having me be a part of it. The off season has been going well. Back in that mode, back in the everyday training regimen. Wouldn't rather be doing anything else, man. So I'm in a very blessed position.
Hey, we appreciate you joining us today, and it sounds like you're locked in then. You're locked in for this 2025 offseason.
Yeah, most definitely, man. I'm always a guy that I hate leisure time, and so when I got back from Vancouver, I tried to give myself maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks. I actually worked out while I was in Vancouver at the hotel, but I tried to give my body a little time off, but I just couldn't do it that long, and so I started to slowly but surely get back into that off-season mode, and so now I'm fully hitting it, full workout schedule, meal preps, everything. Like, let's get it.
Oh,
I
that's
love it. I wish that we had that kind of motivation. Holy.
oh, I mean, even you being in at the Grey Cup for the CFL awards, and then of course to take it all in, and you're also working out while you're there. I think that's a testament to how locked in you are. So, I think ourselves and Double E fans love to hear it. Let's get into a bit of your past, though. Question number one. From
Okay.
Vicksburg, Mississippi to Edmonton, Alberta, your story features a few twists and turns. To start it all off, when was the moment you knew you wanted to be an athlete?
Oh man. I remember being a kid. My first sport was soccer. My parents got me into soccer. That was my first sport. I remember traveling on Saturdays, going to the soccer fields and scoring goals. And then after soccer, we tried baseball because my dad was a baseball player. I didn't have that same love for the game. It's just something about me not being able to hit the ball with the ball being able to hit me just was a little. It was a little shaky for me, so wasn't a fan of that. Played basketball for a little bit. Played basketball for a while. Really liked that. And then I remember, my mom and my granddad and then my dad really putting me into football. And football just always stuck out to me, man. Just the physicality of the game, and just the level to go out there and just impose my will on somebody at a very young age. Because I grew up, I started to be a hefty kid, especially being in the South. So I was bigger than everybody starting off, and so it just was pretty fun, man. Just imposing my will and dominating at a young age, playing pee wee ball, and then I just fell in love with it, and ended up sticking to football as my main sport.
Nice. And who was your team growing up? Who did you cheer for?
So my Pee Wee football team were the Vicksburg Packers. So naturally, I grew up to be a Packer fan, and was a huge Packer fan from Jordy Nelson, Donald Driver, Aaron Rodgers, Charles Woodson, Clay Matthews. Like I could name them all. And then, which is crazy, now playing in green and gold. So it shows like everything comes around full circle. But yeah, I grew up a Green Bay Packer fan.
Definitely. It was meant to be. It was meant to be. The green and gold or the yellow and gold, I guess, but it just it called to you.
Go pack. Go pack. Let's go. Love
You would
it.
know it for sure. And high school was a pretty critical moment for your development. You earned Rookie of the Year in 2016,
Mhm.
and you also earned the All County Defensive Player of the Year in 2017. So, what was it like playing for and excelling with your hometown team?
Man, it was great. We grow up in a town where you either go to Warren Central or you go to Vicksburg. Like that's the thing, and it's a big rivalry. And so my parents went to Vicksburg, and so automatically I had no choice. I was a Vicksburg Gator, and so to grow up and play for Vicksburg and really excel each and every year, just getting better. And the more snaps that I got, the more better I got, and to be one of the players that was Warren County Defensive Player of the Year back to back, which had only been done I think once prior to myself, was just amazing, man. It was amazing to know that I had that legacy in a short amount of time during my high school career, and really just sparked that level of holding myself to that stature going forward in my career.
And that's it, apparently with your college career as well. You also stepped it up again, right? You're well known for your college years with the Tulane Green Wave, and we've seen that on social media. We see there's quite a bit of fan support. How did you manage to improve in different ways through each of your seasons?
Just find a way to get better. I feel like I'm my biggest critic. I just feel like every day is an opportunity to get better. Not even just as a football player, but as a person. I feel like every day that you wake up, God gives you another opportunity, another chance to continue to fulfill your purpose. And so I just always challenge myself to get better. In every opportunity, from whether it's day to day, game to game, I always want to correct my mistakes. So I have a level of perfection that I try to chase each and every day. And even though I may not obtain perfection, I feel like consistently chasing it puts you in a position to be at the top. And I just always had a high standard for myself, and that's the story of my career.
Love it.
Yeah, and how would you say that the fan support was in Tulane?
It was amazing. It was amazing. When I really say we have Greenway family, we really have like Greenway family. Like just the way that they support past players, current players, players that haven't played in forever. It's a really close knit society when it comes to the fans of Tulane, and to know that we were able to give them something to now be proud of when they mention that they're a Tulane Greenway fan. It's something that's gonna forever be in my heart. Everybody knows me, knows that I love those fans, because the way that they embrace me, the way that in culture, that city embrace me, coming from Vicksburg, Mississippi, and being somebody that knows about Southern hospitality, to go down to New Orleans and have a new family outside of my intermediate family, it was a blessing.
Yeah, that's so cool. And there's always something to say about college football too, that it just blows my mind, in the US that we don't necessarily see anything like that here. But it really, from the very few snapshots that I've seen on TV and TV shows, it is very much like a family, it feels, with everybody in the town. So one day I want to experience that. I want to go to a small town in the US and go to a college football game and see what
Yeah.
it's like.
Gonna go to Tulane,
We gotta
apparently.
go to
Yeah,
Tulane.
Hey, might as well, man.
Yes.
Might as well. The Omen Stadium is a place to be, man, now on Saturdays.
that's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, we just might have to. But after you went to Tulane and kind of knocked the socks off of everybody there in 2023. You were signed to the New Orleans Saints, but ultimately you didn't make the final roster on the last round of cuts. So, can you tell us more about your experience with the Saints?
My experience with Saints was nothing but positivity, man. To just have that opportunity to wear the NFL logo in a city that I played college football in a city that I'm not too far from, playing for a team that I watched multiple times growing up was a blessing. A lot of people get bitter after they go through a situation like that, but I'm one of those people that take every L as a lesson. It was things that I was able to learn while being out there that helped me when I got to Edmonton, that helped my career, that helped my game. And so I just look at everything from a silver lining and was really appreciative of my time there, appreciative of the staff and the management up there giving me an opportunity, a kid from Tulane, a kid from Mississippi being able to stay and play for the home team. It was something that was very, very a blessed situation, and I'm really grateful for them for extending me that opportunity and being in the locker room with guys that I've looked up to for a very long time. Sitting in the meeting room with guys like Demario Davis, Pete Warner, like guys that are doing it at a high level. Like I couldn't have asked for any other type of situation. And even though I was released, the information I was able to retain and learn while I was there really is something that is cemented in me, and I'm gonna take with me for the rest of my career as long as I'm playing the game.
And I think that's really special as well because, like you said, it could have been one of those scenarios where you're looking at it like sour grapes or you're looking at it
Mhm.
like lemons. Instead, it's lemonade. Instead of having a sour look on pro football, you used it as a step to once again get better. That seems to be
Right.
the theme with Nick Anderson here.
Mhm. Definitely. But did it did it change your outlook on pro football, or did it make an impact on how you approach pro football?
I wouldn't say that it changed, but it grew my knowledge of the business side of it.
Mm.
Because before going to pro football, everybody that is there and has been through it tells you how much of a business the sport is, but you really aren't able to understand the ins and outs until you specifically go through your situation and you have a situation where it's like, okay, like this is what it is. And so I feel like that was the one thing that I was able to see is just like, okay, aside from playing football, these are the things that I have to be cognizant of, and that's what I need going forward in my career. Just understanding that, you do play a game, but it is a professional game that has the business ins and outs of it.
No,
Yeah, that's
that's
pretty important.
no, it really is, right? And I think sometimes emotions definitely get in there, and that's
Yeah.
where once again, right, you could have taken that in an emotional sense.
Mhm.
Instead, you flipped it around and you said, "Okay, no, I'm gonna use this information going forward."
Mhm.
Uh,
Right.
that going forward happened to be here in Canada, in Edmonton specifically. That's where you went ahead and continued your professional career. So, did you know anything about the Double E franchise or the city before you signed with the Edmonton Elks?
I knew I had heard of the Edmonton Elks prior to signing. I didn't know much about the franchise or its rich history. I knew about Warren Moon, but I did not know about his connection to Edmonton. I first learned about that connection when I talked to Coach Jones prior to coming, and I was just curious about availability of jersey numbers. And he was like, "Well, what jersey number did you want?" And I was like, "I want number one. Is number one open? I wore number one in college." And he was like, "Well, let me tell you." You know about a guy named Warren Moon? I was like, yeah, I know about Warren Moon. He was like, well, Warren Moon did amazing things in the Canadian Football League. And so his jersey was number one, and that one's retired. So we won't be wearing that one this year. And I was like, man, I was like, okay, okay. Much respect to Warren Moon. I mean, he's a heck of a person, a heck of a player, somebody of his caliber that was able to do it at a high level in the CFL and the NFL. Like,
Mhm.
kudos to him. I wish I would have just got the grace to put on the number one jersey, but man, like it's one of those things like that's so historic, like it's untouched. And
Mhm.
so yeah, like I was learning by the wayside, and that was one of the things that I'm actually glad that I didn't know anything about Edmonton prior to coming up here, because I was able to come up here so open-minded. And so despite everything that had happened with the franchise prior to, I'm looking at the fact like I wasn't aware of none of this. So like, let's set the path straight. Let's get it trending in the right direction, because I don't have the negative connotations when it comes to Edmonton. I know nothing but positivity. I've been given the opportunity by Edmonton. So it's like,
Mhm.
I want to give them the best that I can, because they gave me an opportunity when majority of people didn't want to. And so I came in with that positive and optimistic mindset, like, okay, like, this is a winning franchise. Let's work to get that going, because that is what this franchise is built on. And so
Mhm.
yeah, man, just coming up into Edmonton, I love Edmonton. I tell, everybody, like, it's an amazing city. Some even people from Canada, when you mention Edmonton, they're like, Edmonton, you got Vancouver, Toronto. I'm like, man, Edmonton's beautiful. Like, I don't know what y'all, but Edmonton is a beautiful city. So yeah, like, just learning about the culture of the city, learning about the fan base, and just seeing everything when I got up here, it was nothing short of amazing.
Oh, that's
No,
cool.
and I mean, I think people usually hate on Edmonton for the current time of year that we're facing right now and the current
Yeah,
weather.
it's and you know what? And I'll even agree to that because I had never visited Vancouver until the Grey Cup last year, and
Mm.
even then, I walked away from that city loving Edmonton even more. So that's something to say. But you certainly made a huge impact in Edmonton last year. Your most outstanding rookie campaign was indeed outstanding. You tied Niles Morgan for 111 defensive tackles on the season and first overall 116 total tackles. So let's dissect that a little bit. How did Niles Morgan contribute to your season, both as a teammate and a veteran voice?
Man, just that big brother that I needed going into the season, with just the experience that he had. Him being the guy that came up here and didn't really know much, but was able to adapt and grow himself, not only on the field, but off the field in the community. He was a great role model and a great guy to learn from on a day-to-day basis. And I enjoyed playing with him. I texted him 2 weeks ago, and after I got settled in and situated back in the States, and was like, man, we made history. Like, that's special, bro. Like, we will forever have that. We will forever be connected with that. The next duo that's able to do it, they're gonna have to bring our names up in comparison. And
Mhm.
so that really just shows the forever connection that I would have with him. And I'm just forever grateful for him being a part of my life and being a part of this journey in my career. And I know it's likewise on both sides.
Yeah, I mean that was one heck of a campaign. Niles Morgan, it's kind of funny. We've described him as somebody that really embodies the traditional winning ways, the Eskimos way, or however you want to put it as a double
Mhm.
E fan, right? But it's the fact that he stays in Edmonton in the off season. It's the fact that he pours himself into the community, does all these events. He's truly been through the darkest of days with this
Right.
Mhm.
franchise in recent history and everything. And to see you guys team up and do that together, you come in one of the greatest fresh talents that we've seen with the organization in
Mhm.
a hot minute. That beacon, like we talked about before we went live, and for you to team up with him, both of you tie in the defensive tackle stat at 111. It's just crazy. Like even Paul Lapalisse was him and I had a brief exchange there in Vancouver. And he's like, yeah, he's like Nick Anderson, eh? I'm like, yeah, Nick Anderson. Like this guy came in and he friggin' tackled his heart out. So, it's very, very special. Now, obviously, there's Niles Morgan, but what about the coaching staff? How did they kind of help you achieve this most outstanding rookie campaign?
They gave me opportunity. And that's been a constant thing in my career. I've always been appreciative for the ones that looked at Nick Anderson and said, regardless of the quote unquote measurables that we're looking for, this guy's a baller and this is the guy that we want on our team, not only because he's a baller, but because of the caliber of person that he is. And that coaching staff truly believed in me from day one. From the first practice to the last practice of training camp, said, Nick Anderson is our guy. This is the guy that we're going with going forward. And even at the beginning of the season, when I still was trying to find my way and navigate and feel the CFL out and get the differences understood, they were always patient with me. They were always available when I had questions, when I was trying to get better, from Coach Jobs to Coach Amir Ishmael to Coach Clun to Coach Jones. I'm so appreciative of Coach Jones, despite things that people have to say to him. I've had nothing but great interactions with that man. That man came down to Mississippi last year in November and told me about the CFL, told me about Edmonton, told me about his envisionment for my career, and it aligned with what I'd done. Coach Jones called it before I even called it, and
Nice.
he saw that in me, and continue to tell me like, "Hey, man, give the CFL a shot. Come up here, just try it out." And I'm so appreciative for that man. I called him prior to going to Vancouver once the season concluded and just thanked him again because despite everything else, you gave me an opportunity. And I can only judge you off the things that you have done in my life, and it's been nothing but positive. But each and every coach, each and every staff member, medical staff, equipment staff, support team, from the ticket sales people all the way down to the photographers, just invested in Nick Anderson. They played their role and did their job to the best of their capabilities so I can have my job be easier, which is being on the field and making plays. But a lot of times guys don't take the time to really understand that so many people around us are doing so many different things just so we can go out here and play a game and do what we love to do. And not only the coaches, but everybody in that organization, I'm so appreciative of, man. So appreciative of.
That
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and it trickles down all the way to the fans. We have
Right.
Darren over here in the chat. We love you, Nick, the man with the nose for the football. So it certainly shows, everything. Like I say, it just trickles down all the way to the fans and every single member of the
Right.
organization. But what was it like being in the locker room for that final stretch of the season? I mean,
It it was
the
it
Elks
was
were winning.
amazing. It was amazing. Like I'll never forget winning the game in Sask and everything just flipping because we always had the talent. If you go back and watch those first 7 games, we always had the talent, but things had to just start clicking because we had a lot of young players. We had a lot of guys that had never really played in the CFL. We had a lot of guys that had never really played together. We had a lot of second year guys that weren't true veterans yet to really say, okay, this, that, and the third. But however, they did a great job. I tell everybody, like my boundary boys and Kai Gray and Darius Bratton, those guys helped me so much because I played a different position this past year. Like down south, I played what would be the Mike linebacker in the CFL. The will linebacker in the CFL is more like a hybrid outside linebacker, strong safety type. I had never done that, but I'm a guy that don't never say what I can't do. I just want to learn how I can do it, and so really embrace that. But it took a lot of growing pains through the course of the season, and so to be in that locker room and just see guys continue to show up to work, continue to fight, continuing to say, okay, like this gonna be the game that we get it flipped around. And once things started rolling, it was like, man, we was on fire. And I'll never forget, man, just catching that spark and then, going to Montreal and coming up short. And it hurt me. I was crying after the Montreal game because one thing about me, I hate losing. I hate losing. Like I really hate losing more than I love winning. Like I have a deep hatred for losing, man. I don't like losing. And so to go to Montreal and them be the number one team in the league and to have played them the first time and it was fairly close and we didn't even play well, to go out and play even way better than we did the first time but still come up short. That one was a tough pill to swallow, but I'll never forget, like, Sean Oakman, Niles, um Lou, Chris Moncrief, like just Derek Moncrief just grabbed me around the shoulders and saying like, bro, like you're gonna be a great player. Like you're getting great. The season not done. Just keep fighting, keep going. I know this one hurt, but like just keep going. And it just showed the real team that we had, despite everything that was going on outside, despite management and everybody trying to get things situated. We kept going and we kept showing up every day doing our jobs, and that's the culture that's building and progressing and getting back to the standard of the Edmonton Elks.
Well, and we talked to Lou Chaz. We did talk to Lou, pardon me, in at the Grey Cup at the CFLPA
Mhm.
HQ there. We were fortunate enough to talk to Lou, and I had asked him, I'm like, hey man, how was that locker room going through the final stretch, right? Like almost a similar question. And he's like, no, the locker room was tight the whole
It
time.
was. It
Mm.
was.
You guys were brothers in there, right? And that's honestly, it's something that this organization's been missing, especially the locker room.
course.
that bone that we talk about, right?
We talk about it a
Right.
lot.
You guys are starting to see that return in the locker room, which is really special. And Larry Thompson has a bit of a hand in that, but to see you, the players, doing it on your own and being that brotherhood and being there for each other and hearing these stories, it just kind of reconfirms and reaffirms, what we're really hoping is happening.
Right.
The things that we want to see as fans, we want to see you guys be a unit as well. You don't want to see a broken locker room. You don't want to hear the stories. And I mean, sure, right? There's media says whatever, but
Yeah.
these stories from you, the players, it's fantastic to hear. And yeah, hey, we wish you guys would have won that Montreal one too. We were at Metallica in Commonwealth Stadium, and I was watching the game on the phone. Right, I was watching it. They were in their throwback jerseys there, and I was really, really hoping. And it came down to once again, like many games this season, off by
Super
a couple
close.
points with a couple minutes. It's
Mhm.
about it. But getting back to the Grey Cup, we were fortunate enough to meet you at the Grey Cup the day after you had won the most outstanding rookie award. You had your mom with you, which was very special. So how was your Grey Cup experience overall in Vancouver?
It was amazing. I was just jealous the whole time. I'm not gonna lie. I was just jealous of the teams that were there because I knew that we had the talent in Edmonton to be there, and I'm just knowing that if we would have been able to just slip up in the playoffs, we would have made it. But it was a phenomenal experience to really just see the fan base, like to see that realization. Even though I had that realization way in the beginning of the season, but to actually see the fruition of this is the NFL in Canada. This is Canada's
Mhm.
NFL. To see that it's not something that's like okay, just another league. It's really something that has fans, has investments, have people that really care. But to see the part of it to where everybody treats you human. It's not like nothing like, oh my God, I can't talk to you or anything. Like people treat you with the same respect. People treat you with the same care and concern with that hospitality and that genuine care and love. It was times, I was at Mahoney's and, they would just like pull up a chair, let's have a conversation. I'm like let's do it. Like, bring my mom and I think she got tired of me just walking around and everything. I'm like, man, like I want to be around these fans because without the fans, this doesn't go. Without that support of the fans and the support of the fans with the CFL, with the Edmonton Elks, with each team, we don't have a job. And so to really see that and just be around and just shake hands, take pictures, have laughs, and just have that interaction, that fellowship with all the fans and everybody, it was nothing short of amazing.
Well, and that's exactly it, right? That pull up a chair and let's shoot the breeze. I think I had heard that you were in the building around 3 or 4 times in different buildings we were at, and
Yes.
I'm like, oh,
We're like,
where's
oh,
Nick
we just
Anderson?
missed him.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm like, I really hope we see Nick Anderson. Like I said it a couple times, right?
Yes.
And you're right. The CFL is the Canadian NFL.
Right.
The CFL is actually, I think, technically older than
Right.
the NFL, right? It is,
Mhm.
in a
Right.
way, the original form of football.
Right.
Gridiron football was invented in Canada. So,
Right.
I mean,
Yes.
it's interesting to see, obviously, how both
Mhm.
leagues have gone their separate paths, but at the same time, you have 50 to 60,000 fans
Mhm.
come down on a city and just go all party with each other. And it's there's no hardcore intense rivalries. Like we don't read each other that bad. We did not go into Stamp's house.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
Out
coincidental or
out of
what.
principle, we did not step foot in the Stamps house. Uh, but yes, no, definitely. If that's one thing that I know for sure about CFL fans is that you put them in the room together, and suddenly you have a room of family.
Yeah.
It
Right.
was we were in a room and we turned around and we had a table of around 15 people, and all the 15 people had a different jersey on.
Yeah.
And we were just all sitting, everybody representing their colors, and it was really, really cool. But um well, I do want to bring up a
We
comment here before we move
we do
on
have
to
a
the next
section
one.
for the questions.
Oh, it's not a
Okay.
question, it's just a comment.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
From Clay here. He says, "Can Hervey sign Nick to a 10-year extension and ensure he's an elk for life? He's the kind of guy Edmonton deserves and this league needs." We
Man,
all agree.
I appreciate that, man. And since he brought that up, man, there's definitely been some conversations, um, with me, trying to definitely be in Edmonton. Like I said, I really love the city, love the fan base. Really appreciate the fans. Even when we were 0-7 in the beginning of the year, people kept showing up, and that just shows the loyalty, and that just shows the real love and the want to that of the community that we have around us in Edmonton. And you don't find that at other places. You really don't find that. And so to for Edmonton to be a city that gave Nick Anderson an opportunity, I'm a loyal guy. That's just how I am. Like I said, I'm gonna believe in those that believe in me. And it's really something that I'm really hoping can get done, is that we can get it rolling, and I can be at Edmonton Elk for a long period of time. And so just praying that we go ahead and get things done with management. My agent's been in talks about trying to see what we can do. But like I said, man, like I'm really appreciative of the franchise, and I'm a guy that doesn't shy away from things that are difficult. I'm a guy that, if you look at my track record, I come in and I do my due diligence of what I can do to help flip programs. When I was at Tulane, we weren't where we are now, and I was able to just help be a part of bringing things together so we can go and flip the script and go out AAC champs, go out with the Cotton Bowl win, and just being at the Grey Cup and seeing the trophy. I haven't even touched it. I said specifically, even when it was in Edmonton, I said, man, I don't want to touch the trophy until I'm hosting it up. And so that's really one of the things that I really want to bring to that city, because just seeing the fans and just seeing the community is something that they deserve to have. And next year will be 10 years since Edmonton has had one, and I'm really just hoping that we can get something done to keep me a part of the organization, so we can go out there and do that, bring that back to the city. Especially with that's been the thing, Ed coming home and people coming back, and I'm just hoping that
Mhm.
we can get things done so I can be a piece of bringing that culture, that standard back to the city of Edmonton.
Find me a wall right
I
now. I got
love
to
it.
run through it.
I love it. Let's bring Nick the Grey Cup so that he can touch it for
Yes.
the first time. Let's make it happen.
Oh, so good. And I mean, faith is part of that. We have faith in Nick Anderson, but Nick Anderson also has faith, spelled with a one in there. So faith is something you've often tweeted and posted about, and you have a venture called Faith LLC. So can you tell us more about what faith means to you?
Faith to me is so many different things. It's the spearhead of my life. I'm a man of spiritual faith, a man of just mental faith. Really have that really belief system that plays a role in me being able to excel on the field. And so I decided to use that and let that be my brand. And faith, the acronym stands for Furthering Athletes First Through Hope. And just something that I wanted to really establish to help people in the community and help athletes in the community really understand that purpose, beyond just being an athlete, and helping them with that, the mental, the physical, the spiritual, and just being able to grow themselves and advance themselves so they can reach their full potential. Because I know it's many people that played into my life, that played into my development as a person, as a player, as a man. And I want to be able to do that same thing for the youth. And I'm just big on giving back, big on community service, and I decided to come up with faith to really get that out there. So yeah, it's something that has been developed, and I'm trying to grow and get it done.
I love that too, because I mean we've had former Double E alumni, or former Double E player, current Double E alumni, uh, Eric Jones on the show, and Garrick Jones was also big about
Mhm.
entrepreneurship, doing things like that. We see a lot of the players such as Niles Morgan. He has his
Right.
Mhm.
own program here in Edmonton as well. Recommend everybody check it out. But it's cool to see
Mhm.
our players and our alumni do initiatives such as this, right?
Right.
Um, and I mean, you signed the card with that faith. Obviously, knew that that was something that's really big to you, and paying it forward and giving back to our communities. That's kind of what this franchise
Mhm.
is immediately getting back to, right?
Mhm.
And to have
Right.
somebody like yourself doing the same down there, and that's it. That's at Vicksburg, right?
Yes.
Perfect. So
Mhm.
yeah, I mean it's amazing to see. We're gonna follow and share the heck out of that as much as we possibly can. Um, but let's let's get into some holiday questions, shall we?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
let's
time
do
for the fun questions
it.
now.
Let's do
Yeah,
it.
It is the holiday season after all. So
tis the
we
season.
we must ask, what are your traditions over the holidays?
Gingerbread houses. Gingerbread houses is the one thing that my family has always done. We've always made a gingerbread house the night before Christmas, and so that's been one of our biggest holiday traditions. We never did the elf situation. I do want to do that with my kids. I feel like that's a pretty fun thing to do. But just gingerbread houses, and also going out in the community the week of Christmas to feed people, feed the needy, and also feed the fire departments, the police departments, and then the ambulance, the first responders. That's something that we always do, and so those are things that we do for to really bring in the Christmas holiday.
Oh,
That's
I love it.
that's gonna tear up a little
That's
bit
so
over here.
wholesome.
It's very very wholesome. Now if there's one Christmas movie that you must watch every year, if you could only watch one, let's say every year, what would it be?
The Polar Express, and saying that I'm shaking my head because I have not watched it yet, but that just hit my mind that I definitely gotta watch the Polar Express. It was my favorite kids movie growing up. It's essential, man. I definitely gotta go watch that one. I'll probably watch it tonight, honestly.
I
Nice.
love it. I've actually never watched it, so
I
we should.
have. I'm more of a Christmas Vacation, National Lampoons guy. But once again,
Okay.
that's because I grew up watching that with my family every year as well, right?
Yeah. No, definitely. And if you could ask Santa for three gifts right now, what would you
Three
ask for?
gifts.
Hmm.
Hmm. If I could ask Santa for three gifts, what would that be? That's a great question. I would say a vehicle, but luckily I just got one, so I can't say a vehicle. Um, I would say a true opportunity for my little brother to be able to go play college football because everything that's going on with the transfer portal is kind of tough on high school kids getting recruited. So I would say a true opportunity for him to go and play football because that's something that he desires to do. Um, for myself, I would say not to be cliche, but to get things situated with Edmonton, so
Yeah.
we can go win this cup.
I love
Um,
it. So it's
and
yeah, it's definitely a Grey Cup. You're asking for a Grey Cup under that
yeah,
tree
great
this year.
cup. And then my third thing probably, what do I want? Oh man, it's tough because everything that I want, I just try to find a way to get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
My third thing, hmm, got. Oh, my third thing would be I really want a game room. Like I don't even play the game that much, but I have a place in the house that I have all my accolades and things like that. So if I just had like a solid man cave, that would be perfect to put everything in. And that's really it. That's all I can. That's all I can come
I
up with. But if I could ask Santa for that, that's probably would be what I asked for. And it would have been a truck, but luckily I was able to get a vehicle. And so yeah, that's it.
So it's kind of
I
funny,
love
right?
it. I love it.
I'm a bit of a similar mind in that sense. I have a full games room over at my place with arcade and pool and darts and N64 and everything else. So in a
Poker
way,
table,
poker
all
table.
just
Yeah, I'll send you some pictures, man.
Okay.
Because yeah, same deal with all my accolades, my refrigeration red seal, and everything else. It's all down there. Signed Warren Moon jersey, all the goodies. So yeah, I'll definitely send you some shots to give you some ideas for your games room.
That's
Um,
Appreciate you.
I love it.
number
I feel like I'm not okay. I don't want anything to say for that, but I feel like every man should have their own game room. Like, I
yes,
feel like for me, it's a library, right? I mean, if you can see my shirt, it says books, 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 books. So, if I could have my little corner with just a big library, But when it comes down to the gaming and the that space, it's like, yeah, everybody should have their own little
Right.
space that is just theirs, that
Yeah.
is just what they want to see, that it brings a smile to their face whenever you walk into that room.
Right.
Even Edmonton Sports Talk just got a little deal with Playmore Tables and Games and got their own arcade as well. So everybody wants a
Everybody
games
needs
room,
it.
right?
Everybody gets a games room from Santa.
But okay, last holiday question. Then we're gonna get to herd chat questions. So everybody that is currently watching, please make sure you get your questions into the herd chat here for Nick. We are running a little bit over on time, so I'll
Yeah,
try to
we'll
get
get this.
through this. What is your number one go-to holiday treat besides gingerbread?
Mm. Go-to holiday treat aside from gingerbread. Um, I tried eggnog for the first time this year.
Okay, and what'd you think?
It's pretty solid. It's pretty solid.
Nice.
So I'm gonna put eggnog on the list, even though I don't really drink like that. I like it. It has a very unique flavor. So I feel like it's a holiday drink. So why not? So we're gonna go with eggnog.
But if
I
it's
love
not
it.
eggnog, it's probably gingerbread, right?
It's probably gingerbread houses, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like, uh, as a kid, we used to put the gingerbread houses up and say that we're gonna leave them for Santa. And then once I realized Santa wasn't, I don't know how many kids watching, but I used to wake up and take a bite out of it. so, so yeah, I'm never gonna go to the gingerbread house because I'm like, man, if Santa hasn't showed up to do it, I'm just gonna get a head start on it before he gets here.
I love it.
That's
I
so
love it.
good. So good. I love it. All right. We
Alright.
do have some herd chat questions here. We have Clay from Argos Fancast. What up, Clay? What's Nick's favorite present he's ever gotten for Christmas?
For my 11th Christmas, I got a guitar. And it was crazy because at the time I really loved Camp Rock, really loved the Jonas Brothers. So being in Vancouver and seeing the Jonas Brothers in person was amazing to me because like the little kid in me was so excited. But I ended up getting a guitar. I wanted a guitar. After seeing Camp Rock, I was like, I need a guitar. Like Nick Jonas, Nick Anderson, like nobody could tell me I wasn't Nick Jonas. Like despite everything, the physical traits, I was like, I am Nick Jonas. And so I wanted a guitar, and so that was the biggest thing. My granddad ended up buying me a nice black guitar, and then everybody got tired of me running around the house. So the guitar just magically disappeared after like 6 months, and I was like, "What is?" But I guess everybody got tired of me, man. To this day, they won't tell me what happened to it. But yeah, that black guitar was my best Christmas gift.
Still thinking about it. That I love it. I love it.
Well, now we know, Mama Anderson, if you are watching,
Yeah.
Nick would like a guitar.
Preferably in black. From our good friend Sinjin here in the herd chat. What up, Sinjin? Favorite moment / play from the Double E that wasn't your own play this season?
I have a couple, but if I just gotta pick one, I'm going to say the last overtime game versus Toronto when Niles made the tackle to get us off the field. That was my favorite play because everybody on the sideline had kept telling us about the tackles. Like we couldn't ignore it because every time we get to the sideline, you got this many, you got this many, you got this many, you got this many. And so I knew I was ahead, but I was like, man, like that guy works his tail off. And so when he was able to make that tackle, I knew we tied. And so I was in the back like, because I'm like, man, like I want him to get something, especially with him being in the league and they don't really give him his recognition that they really should. For him to have that, I was happy for him. Even if you watch the video and I was like, we tied, I was happy for him because it's like now you really got another part of history, bro, and you deserve it. You worked hard and you've been through a lot, and so that was one of my favorite moments from the year for sure. Just having him be with me at the top.
Well, and it was crazy too because I remember going to the washroom. I'm looking up at the TV. I see that we turn the ball over. Toronto gets it back, right? Everybody leaves. Like, very disappointing to see everybody leave with like a minute and a half
yeah.
left.
Yeah.
And yeah, sure, I look at the TV. I'm frustrated. I'm like, here we go. And then I walk back down, and I see that it's third down.
Yeah.
Right.
All of a sudden, you guys did it, right? It was like,
Yeah.
holy cow, boys, let's go, let's go. We got life, let's go.
Yeah,
That's
right.
why we never leave until the zeros are on the clock.
That's-
You never know
That
what's
is
gonna
the
happen.
rule. Exactly. It's the CFL. We've seen crazy things happen in the span of
Mhm.
a minute and a half. And obviously, we know how that game ended.
Mhm.
Mr. Rouge, most valuable Rouge, does it again and punts it out of there. And yeah, and I mean, if you were there for that ending, that's the thing too. That was one of the most exciting endings to the game
Oh, it was.
I've seen in a hot minute. Kathy,
So wild.
unfortunately,
I
didn't
wasn't
even get to beat
there,
it.
but I was watching, and that was a wild game. So
Just wild.
I was thankful.
We do have a couple more questions here, if you're
Mhm.
privy, Nick. Nick, who is the toughest running back you faced last year? That's coming in from Darren Popovich.
I got to go with a tie between Kerry and go with a tie between Montreal Alouettes running
Fletcher.
Fletcher, shifty back, great receiver. Like I gotta go with those two. Those two were the toughest backs that I faced this past season.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah, Fletcher, former double E, and then yeah, Kadeem Carey. He ended up winning a Grey Cup, right? So
Yeah.
that's you know, I think that's fair.
That is very fair.
Very fair. Ryan N here in the herd chat. I believe that might be Ryan Nervous. Shout out Ryan either way. How big of a learning curve was it for the rules of the CFL? How was that adjustment?
It took a minute. It took a minute to just get adjusted. I remember the first practice, I was lining up on the line of scrimmage, didn't know you had to give a yard, and everybody yelling at me to get back. And I'm looking at everybody, like, what's wrong with y'all? Like, why are we so far off the ball? And so it just took things like that, and being able to see the motions and receiver motions, the waggles and things. It was pretty. It took some growing pains, like I said, but over the course of the season, I was a natural.
Adjusting to the waggle must have been
Yeah.
probably one
Yeah.
of the toughest parts, right? That pre-snap motion.
Yeah, it was tough, but over the course of the season, like I said, I had a great group around me, great coaching staff that was able to put me in positions to know what to look for and know what to do to put myself in great positions to make plays.
Mhm.
Love it. And
No, that's
then
great.
CFL chatter here in the herd chat. He will
Mr.
win a
Keller.
most outstanding defensive player award very soon. So
It'll happen.
shout out CFL chatter in the herd chat. All right, we do have two last questions for you here, Nick.
Okay.
We did kind of touch base on this already, but you're already loved by Double E fans and CFL fans, as we're seeing in the herd chat and at the Grey Cup. Now, the Edmonton Elks organization has made some changes that the fans are also loving as well.
Mhm.
So, have you had much contact with the new head coach, Mark Killam, GM
Yeah.
Ed Hervey, or President Chris Morris?
Yes, I haven't met the president yet, but I have.
Oh,
Oh no.
is it us? Is it Nick?
I don't know. It might be. I think it's Nick because we're still alive. So
We are still live.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
no. I hope his phone didn't die. Oh, we killed Nick's phone.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, let's
Well-
well, we can hide him for now while
Mhm.
we wait for him to return to the stream.
Oh yeah,
Oh, he out.
he out. That's
Well,
okay.
He can definitely join back in. I'll shoot him a message. But ladies and gents, thanks a lot for tuning in tonight. Obviously, we have a slight technical difficulty here with Saint Nick, aka Nick Anderson,
That's
number
okay.
48
It happens.
of the Edmonton. It happens.
It happens.
It happens. We only did have one more question after that, but he
Well.
was in the middle of answering that one and it was really good. So we'll try to get him back on here to the show right away. Also, we appreciate everybody tuning in tonight.
Clay over here in the chat.
Elks
The Elks
did.
didn't want him to give
God.
up any secrets. Nope.
God.
Nope.
Well, it's funny too. That was like my one spicy question I was trying to get in there. I was like, yeah, let's do like, let's do a juicy question. And then we had
that
another
was a
one.
no.
No, the football gods and the double E gods are like, nope, smite that stream. Rather
find out.
unfortunate.
That's okay.
It's not a Christmas miracle. It's
Yeah.
the opposite. But no, but we do greatly appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. Obviously, here on the 2024 Elks Call Holiday Special,
Mhm.
we do have a giveaway.
Yes.
So let's do a quick giveaway here while we wait for the return of Nick Anderson.
Mhm.
Just tell him no big deal. He can join up if he wants. But yeah, let's scroll on down there.
Okay.
So
Senjin in the chat. Larry said no.
Larry said no, but that was yeah, exactly. Um, no, the Double E have been really, really good with
Oh
us
no, yeah,
having
it's
guests on.
been
So
great.
I will say big shout out to the Double E and Mike Arcuri for having us have guests on the show this season. The Edmonton Elks have been fantastic and
Oh yeah.
cooperating with us on stuff like this. So
And we
can't.
couldn't have had a better guest for today. How wholesome is Nick Anderson? He is the perfect guest for a holiday special.
Well, and it's also really special to hear players embracing the Double E way.
Hmm.
You know, he's even saying like, "Hey, I want to make it back up to Edmonton here right away." Now, let's not kid ourselves. I think he does have some opportunities ahead of him, right? So we'll see what happens here in the off season with Nick Anderson. We're gonna ask him about that if we can get him back on. But yeah, I mean, overall, he's another player that embodies the Double E winning ways. Wants to just get the franchise back on its feet, which is amazing. Came in with like a no lose attitude, right?
Hmm.
Sinjin here in the Herd Chat, our organization, has got much better with community
Hmm.
engagement as well. And they really have been. They're instantly trying to make an impact in the community. I don't know if anybody saw the Trent Brown, James H. Brown Christmas video that just recently
Yes.
came out, but every year Trent Brown will take a big group of children, most likely in need, and they get to go shopping with the Edmonton Elks or Evander Kane or whoever.
Hmm.
And it's also good to see Trent Brown having faith in the organization like that again,
Hmm.
simply because I think it's very obvious that he was one of those that was not thrilled with the direction of the organization.
Yeah.
Now we have Ed Hervey back,
Yeah.
so that's very special. We will talk about those changes here in the Herd report coming up. So we'll dig into that in a moment. How
Hmm.
about we do a giveaway?
Let's do it.
Um, let's give away a CFLPA Royal Retros hat. So this will be the second one we're giving away on the Elks Call 2024. Probably the last one we will be giving away as a whole. How do you win this? How do you win this Royal Retro
How do you
CFLPA
win it? How do you win it?
2025 CFLPA All Star hat? Well, you're gonna text retro to 780-307-7779. It's retro to 780-307-7779. Go ahead and text retro and we will enter you for this hat. Now, if you want an extra entry, and we have 3 giveaways tonight, if
Oh.
you'd like three, we're giving away all of the merchandise we have here, babe.
All of it.
um, text retro 780-307-7779. And if you want an extra entry, you're going to go ahead, subscribe to Shotgun Sports Network, send us a screenshot of the new subscription.
Oh.
Nick Anderson has rejoined us. Nick
My
Anderson.
apologies.
Oh no, it's all good. I
Oh,
was
no,
trying to
my
text
apologies.
you and run a promo at the same time, and I was like, man, like I need to get back to Nick. Sorry, Nick.
I'm
Things
so sorry.
happen.
I ran into some technical difficulties, but we all good right here.
It happens. It's happened to us before, and yeah, we know how it
Yeah,
goes.
it happens. We were taking the blame anyways. It's all our fault. But yeah, getting back to it. Sorry, who did you have some communication with out of the new changes again?
Most definitely. So I've met the president, not the president, the owner, multiple
Right.
times. He's a great guy. Oh my God, he's a great guy. Just like you can tell, he's one of those guys that really had a genuine love for the organization and really is appreciative to have the opportunity to own it. And that's really big because it shows that he's gonna have that deep passion for making sure things are done the right way. And as a player, to know that you have somebody like that at the top, it knows that you're taken care of. And so that's one of the things that I was really happy. I haven't had the chance to meet the new president yet, but I know he's a guy that played for Edmonton, and so he has that level of standard of where he wants the organization to go because he's won a Grey Cup there. I have talked with the general manager. Me and him had a great conversation about what he wants my piece to be going forward in the organization. And like I said, him and my agent have been, had their fair share of talks in regards to things about my future in Edmonton, and hoping we can get things with that. And then the coach, Coach Keelan, he actually called me. I never forget talking to him after we played the Calgary game, and he actually reminded me. But after the Calgary game, a guy came up to me. He was like, "Man, like you a hell of a player. Really love the way that you play the game and have a respect for your game." And it was him, and he reminded me, and I remembered like that distinctly. Like, yes, that was you. And so me and him talked, and he told me that my future is bright when it comes to the organization. And so to know that, I have guys in top places that see my potential and see what I bring to the table is something that I just am appreciative of as a player, and just want to do my best to continue to excel, continue to grow, continue to be the leader that the team needs in order for us to reach the success that we're chasing after.
Mhm.
Love it, love it. And Mark Killam, there's so many people that talk highly, speak highly of
Definitely.
Mark Killam.
Including players, and that's probably the best way of knowing what an organization is going to be if the players themselves think very highly of their head coach.
Well, and
So,
I mean, even Aaron Singleton coming out and saying, "Hey, when are the Go Elks gonna announce Mark Killam in as head coach?" And I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, what is this?" Right? So it's cool to see what a fit. It's cool to see that you remember those interactions and that
Right.
he makes those kind of impacts in small capacities, but really it's a lasting impact. And now he's
Mhm.
your head coach. So it's very it, it's really assuring to know that the organization is still like those pieces of the organization are still communicating with you, still talking, still keeping those lines open, because obviously we're going to want to see you back here at training camp. But for the final question, let's talk about your off season a little bit. We're not going to take too much more of your time. This is your last question here. We really appreciate the fact that you've been with us for an hour here, Nick. So I
It's no
apologize for
problem.
running over, man, but
No, it's no problem.
I really appreciate it. Now, what's in store for Nick Anderson between now and Elks Training Camp 2025?
Just day by day, man, taking everything day by day. Um, as we, know the NFL will come with its fair share of opportunities. I've had some talks with different teams. And obviously, like that's a dream of every player is to play on that level. But like I said, being a kid that all he knew was the NFL, and then to be shown the CFL is really expanding my horizons to where I'm really just focused on how I can be in the best situation for me. And that's what I'm looking at. And that's what the things that are on my mind as far as going forward to making the decision that's going to extend my career and make sure that I'm in a great situation to do what I have to do to be successful in the best way. And like I said, I'm open to coming back to Edmonton if things don't pan out the way that I feel like they should pan out for my career with the NFL. And I already told y'all, man, Edmonton's home for me. It's a place that I look at like Tulane now, like a place that
Mhm.
I want to bring success to, a place that I got my footing in. And I want to continue to grow there each and every opportunity that I get. And so I'm looking at last year, and I'm just that guy. Like I told you, the things that I was able to do last year were remarkable. I did a lot of great things, but I'm not stopping at that. I have so much more ahead. I was telling somebody yesterday that was like, man, you're in your prime. I'm like, I haven't even finished the P in prime yet. I have so much more that I'm wanting to do with my career on and off the field. And I really just, if I'm blessed to be in a position to have that longevity and have the opportunity to get things extended and going in Edmonton, I really want to take full advantage of that and hit the ground running. And like I said, Standard is a great cup, man. Just like I said at
Hmm.
Tulane before we won the championship, I said, and everybody looked at me like I was crazy. Like, what is he talking about? They only won 2 games last year, and he's talking about an American championship. That's I feel like you have to set standards, you have to set goals, and you have to be very direct in what your goal is. Other than that, you're just talking. And so I know for a fact that if I'm blessed to come back to Edmonton and play next year, the standard is a Grey Cup. The standard isn't okay, let's make the playoffs. So okay, let's just be number 1 in the division, or let's get above 500 for the first time, or get double-digit wins. The standard is winning the Grey Cup. Like anything under that, it would not be. I won't be a happy camper. And so that's one of the things that I really want to bring to that city. I feel like the fans deserve it. I feel like the players deserve it from the work that we put in, day out. And I feel like it's something that's very obtainable. And that's what my focus is on. And so the next off season is preparation for the success to come during the season, because as of right now I'm under Edmonton Elks contract, and so my focus is on being the best that I can be to be at Edmonton Elk. And if something comes in that to where I can't turn it down, then okay, we sit down and we see what that looks like and adjust it as such. But right now my focus is on bettering myself and being the best version of Nick Anderson I can be, so I can contribute to this organization.
Love it, man.
Love it.
Absolutely. Patch that hole in the wall and let me run through it again.
Let's do it again.
Sinjin here says it best. If you get the opportunity, take it.
Mhm.
We will support you wherever you go, but no, we are always here. And Edmonton, as you kind of know by now, we've seen the Brandon Zylstras move on to the NFL, the Warren Moons. This organization, it really is a stepping stone for fantastic, talented athletes such as yourself. And I saw a couple comments like, hey, try to keep him in Edmonton. Like, hey, can we keep him in Edmonton? And obviously, we know that our fellow fans here aren't saying this in a selfish way. The fan base genuinely loves you.
Yes.
You're a beacon here for this organization, and especially on the rise up of the Double E.
Mhm.
You're part of that changing of the narrative. You're part of the turn page, right? So, Nick, we know that this has been quite a bit here tonight, so we will let you continue onward with your holiday season here. But man, we can't thank you enough for joining us tonight. This is fantastic.
I appreciate you all for having me, man. It was a true blessing to be on. I wouldn't have rather spent my Thursday night doing anything else than talking ball and talking about the city of Edmonton. So I'm very thankful for you all for having me on here.
Thankful for
Awesome. Thank you
you.
so much.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. I can't wait to see you back here in Edmonton potentially. And if those opportunities are out there, we will be cheering you on every single step of the way. So, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to you and yours. Thanks again for joining us, Nick.
Thank you so much.
Likewise. Merry Christmas, man. God bless y'all.
Happy good
Cheers.
night.
God bless. And that was number 48 of the Edmonton Elks, Nick Anderson, aka Saint Nick. He did come back with a Larry Thompson comment immediately. So, somebody had a theory that Larry said, nope, it was St. John. Who knows, right? But all jokes aside, fantastic guy. What did you think of that?
Oh, that was great. I think Nick is awesome.
Yeah, can we
Super
clone
awesome. I know.
54
All of them.
Nicks,
We
right?
need, we need all the Nick Anderson.
Well, hold up. You got to have room for the tray forwards. You got to have room for, you can't clone everybody.
Well, we have,
Nick
I think we're starting to build that very fantastic core. And it is players like Nick Anderson that are an incredible asset to a team that is just on the uprise. So he's the right fit for the organization. And hopefully we get to see a whole bunch more.
Well, and this really is the rise up of the Double E, right? The Double E is returned. Double E football has returned.
Yeah.
That's the way I've been putting it. And it's also interesting, too. A lot of people are saying Double E now. Double E is all of a sudden a standard again, right?
Yeah.
Instead of saying Esks or Elks or whatever. And you hear less of the arguments, more of the Double E. I think that's what this franchise needed as well to kind of ease things over through this transition period. Now, as per our traditional show schedule, we do have a Kathy's Herd report.
Yeah, there's not much there. But I'll talk about it. I mean, a few things that have happened since the last time that we were live. the first one was, of course, Mark Killam being named head coach.
Let's go.
Did we see it coming? Not really.
No, we were talking Rick Campbell on the show. We thought Rick
Yes.
Campbell was going to be the fit. I thought Mark Killam would come in as special teams.
Mhm.
No, Mark Killam came in as head coach. So that's huge. That's very huge. And
Massive.
so
Seems
far,
to be a
he's
good
made an
fit,
impact.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems to be a really good fit. I think, I mean, it's nice to hear from anecdotes and comments from other players and his past team
Yeah.
that everybody speaks really highly of him. So you definitely won that. So yeah, I don't know.
Well, in the fact he's also talking to Nick Anderson in the off season.
Yeah,
You know, he's
that's
that kind of raw guy.
it's a good boss.
Totally.
That's what you want. And then, of course, the next big news: Trey Ford extended through the 2027 season. Yay.
3 years. 3 years.
Yeah, that is great. What do you think about that?
Well, I guess 2025, 2026, 2027,
Yeah,
yes.
it is a 3-year
That is 3 years.
extension.
I knew it was. I was second guessing myself here. Yeah, what do I think about that? I think it's fantastic. The narrative had changed on the season. If anybody wants to say that that I'm going back on anything as per what my boss was doing last night at the company Christmas party, I will say I did not step back on that. There was a change in narrative throughout the season, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was also mismanagement by the team with the quarterbacks, but there came a point where it was Brinks truck, Trey Ford, give this man the money and keep him in Edmonton.
Yeah.
The number one reason why they needed to keep him, well, obviously he's one of the greatest talents, especially at Canadian quarterback, that we've seen in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
His cap, his ceiling is very, very high. We don't know what that looks like under a proper team.
Yeah.
We're going to see that in 2025. We're going to see what Trey Ford is.
Yeah.
Is Trey Ford a Damon Allen? Is Trey Ford a Tracy Ham? Is Trey Ford, the many comparisons that you can make?
Yeah, we don't know. And that's the thing. There were so many assumptions. There were so many what ifs. There's so many. We don't know. We really don't know what kind of Trey Force as a starter we're going to get until we actually see it. And even in the, just as the end of the season, there were so many assumptions as to what would happen. I think things could have gone differently if there had been another opportunity somewhere else. But obviously, every single team has their starter. So what do you do in that situation, right? I think it's a very particular situation, and we're just going to have to wait and see.
Well, who else did we get at quarterback?
Well, that's the other thing. Elks traded their rights for Cody Fajardo. According to Alexa, that's how you say it too. Fajardo. In exchange for the rights to McLeod Bethel Thompson. So now we hear this. Now, is this another quarterback controversy? Is this going to create an issue? Is Fajardo going to be the starter? And what happens to Trey Ford? Is he going to be QB2 again? Is he going to be unhappy? What are the fans going to think about this?
Can we run a poll?
I don't think we can here.
Not from here?
Maybe.
All right. The big question I think that you just brought up is the quarterback controversy question. Will this create a quarterback controversy? No. And we need to stop with that. And the reason why is because Trey Ford has been given the commitment. Once he's been given the commitment, it's his job to lose now. We are not going to see what we've seen in years past under a different regime, right?
Yeah.
This is Trey Ford's starting quarterback job. Cody Fajardo knows he's coming in as a backup.
Mm-hmm.
Leave it there.
I would say so. I mean, he's
understanding, and his contract will be renegotiated.
And he's getting up there.
He's getting up there. Well, he's only like 32.
Well, I know that's ancient. But it's one of those situations that once again we don't know what we're getting with Trey Ford just yet. Right. We only know what we have seen. He hasn't been a starter for a full season, and we all know that he is very prone to injuries based on the style of plays that he likes to do.
That's a fair assessment.
So if you want to make sure that if there's in any situation that Trey Ford has to step back, you also want a strong quarterback to be able to take that position, to just step in, just like plug and play, right? You have understanding of the game, you know what you're doing, go and make it happen, right?
Yep.
That's how I see it. We still don't know how that's going to go. He, just like Darren says, Cody Fajardo is a very solid QB2.
That's the best backup in the league you could ask for.
Mm-hmm.
2 years out of the Grey Cup.
Yeah.
So please tell me how this is a bad idea.
Well, people are making it more than it needs to be, like they usually do.
Right.
Once again, there's a lot of assumptions. We know that Trey Ford is going to be quarterback, QB1 starter for sure. We know that. What happens afterwards is going to be up to Trey Ford.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that he's performing, that he's bringing in results, make sure that he doesn't get injured, and he continues to have that starter position.
Yeah.
It is a smart business decision by the Elks to make sure that they have a reliable, good quarterback.
If in the event that something happens, you sure as hell hope you have a capable backup.
Mm-hmm.
And McLeod Bethel-Thompson, obviously here in Edmonton, with the way that everything went, he was not going to re-sign here in Edmonton.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was pretty obvious from his comments in the year-end availabilities. That's where I'm basing that off of.
Mm-hmm.
Cody Fajardo, if you're the Edmonton Elks and you really do want a shot at the Grey Cup, which you think you were around, 20 points away from the Grey Cup on the season?
Yeah.
If you think you're that close to making it to the Grey Cup, or at least making it to the Grey Cup playoffs, then that tells you that you only need to do a little bit of fine-tuning. Cody Fajardo is going to be the best backup quarterback you could possibly get. He's a starter.
And not only that, he will be that veteran voice that can guide Trey Ford through his development, because we still know that Trey Ford is a very young quarterback.
Yep.
He still has tons to learn.
Totally.
And you need that veteran experience to be able to guide Trey Ford in all the right ways. And just like St. John says over here, Cody will push Trey to be great. He won't cry over short weeks or be a distraction. It's shots fired.
Pew, pew.
Cody is a solid backup if Trey gets injured. 100%.
That's correct. Now, getting back to our herd report here, there was also a very important extension.
Yes, it was a 2-year extension for kick returner Javon Leake.
Huge. Javon Leake, the fastest man in football.
The fastest.
Right? Yeah. He clocked that, right? So very, very big. Now, there are some free agents on the list. How about we talk about those in the fan forum?
Which ones? Oh, all of these? Okay, you want to talk about the free agent list? Okay.
We have a little Christmas wish list question for everybody. So we can reference this free agent list.
The free agent list is very extensive. So I would definitely recommend that if you don't know who's still a free agent, just go to the CFL website and they have the updated 2025 free agent list. As far as we know, the only two that have been extended right now in any sort of decisions so far have been Trey Ford and Javon Leake.
Yes, and Justin Rankin is also re-signed for next year as well. So the 1-2 punch-out running back is going to be crazy. You got your starting quarterback. There are some names on this list that I do have on my wish list. Oh, David Foucault might be gone. So there's quite a few on the names on the list. We will get there shortly. But first, we have the Edmonton Sports Update. Today's Edmonton Sports Update is brought to you by Herdy's. Gone for the holidays. Herdy's ain't no snowbirds, but we don't work out of regular tailgate hours either. And remember, please use a taxi, rideshare, or other means of safe transportation when drinking this holiday season. Keep the rubber side down, as my trucker friends would say. Herdy's. We smoke the meats. The Edmonton Oilers are sitting at third in the Pacific with a homestand at Rogers Place to head into the holidays. They are hosting the Bruins tonight, which is at 7 p.m. Mountain. Then they'll host the San Jose Sharks for a 2 p.m. matinee on Saturday, followed by a date with the Ottawa Senators on Sunday, 6 p.m. puck drop for that game. The Edmonton Oil Kings are on their holiday break with a return to action on December 27th in Red Deer to face the Rebels. The Sherwood Park Crusaders are facing the Spruce Grove Saints for a back-to-back Battle of the Suburbs. They'll host the Saints on Friday night with a $1 beer promotion, followed by a trip to Spruce Grove for the rematch on Saturday. Both games are at 7 p.m. Mountain. The Sherwood Park Crusaders are always looking for volunteers. Be sure to contact Len Nunes or Derek Yeomans over at the Sherwood Park Crusaders, or apply through their website, which is spcrusaders.com. And for more on the Edmonton sports scene, check out shotgunsportsnetwork.ca for great local sports coverage. We're the Elks Herd. You're up to date. And, yeah, I kind of want to keep the music, but I can't. Let's do another giveaway, shall we?
All
right.
All the giveaways. 'Tis the season of giving.
It is the holiday special, and I mean, we're technically already almost through the show. It's very abbreviated in comparison to a regular show, but we got a memorabilia piece here. It's a TJ Hill facsimile autograph piece. Facsimile autograph. So that means that it's printed, but this is a double E memorabilia piece. It has the green, it has the gold border. TJ Hill number 12. I want to say that's around like 07-ish, somewhere around there. 07-ish.
I'm not sure.
07-ish to 2010, somewhere in there. Oh, what up, Ginger Argo in the Herd Chat? Merry Christmas, gang. Hey, Ginger Argo, we know you're an Argonauts fan, but you too can enter in for this TJ Hill facsimile autograph piece of memorabilia. You'll never guess the phone number that you're going to text to.
I don't know. What are you going to text, though? What do you have to text?
What are you going to text? You're going to text green to 780-307-7779 to win this double E memorabilia piece. Definitely comes before the current Elks moniker, which maybe it has more appeal. I don't know. But if you would like to win this, you're going to enter yourself in with 780-307-7779, text green. And remember, if you subscribe to Shotgun Sports Network and you show us proof that you have subscribed, we will give you an extra entry into one of these giveaways. So make sure that you also mention which giveaway you would like an extra raffle entry into. I don't know if I can say raffle legally, but well, what is this? A giveaway. It's a giveaway.
Yes.
It's a giveaway. And yeah, I mean, these are all gifts provided by our partners and ourselves. We do have one last one here at the end of the episode, right at the end of the fan forum. It's a very big one. It's there's a little rumble going on coming up, and we want to get you in there.
I don't know what it is, to
be
honest.
See?
I'm just as blind to
this is why I write the script.
Else.
It's great. It's great. Big thanks to everybody for joining us tonight for our holiday special. We're having a blast here. Nick Anderson was a treat. If you did miss it, make sure you wait until the end of the episode to go back, because
that was probably one of the best interviews ever that we've ever done.
Oh,
not to say anything about it, all the other interviews that we've had, but it's just the caliber of a human being that Nick Anderson is. It's just absolutely amazing to hear him speak.
Oh, crazy. So. I didn't think the conversation was going to be that wholesome too. I mean, I got to make that card with him. I thought that was cool. I'm like,
I want to go out now and be a better person thanks to Nick Anderson. So
I want to run through the wall and then I want to fix it. That's that's the kind of work ethic he kind of instills in you. And
100%.
Yeah, we are going to have a best of series coming up for our shows around the New Year's area. As you know, we will be going to a monthly show with specials. So we will not have our season premiere until around April, but we're going to have a best of series. Probably expect Jake Julian and Nick Anderson's interviews to be in the best of. Might even have to split it up a little bit and do like a part 1 and part 2. But I think I know why you're here. You know what we're all here for. Let's open up the fan forum. We're gonna cap our show today with the fan forum festive edition, where we're gonna talk about some Christmas themed topics. Herd chat, you know what to do. Blow it up with your questions and your comments, and we're going to get them onto the show. This is a fan activity, so it's always fun. Very interactive show, especially today. All right, let's just lay it on the line here. Number 1, overall Christmas movie. What is it? What is your favorite number 1 overall Christmas movie of all time? Kathy, what do you got?
I'm pretty sure you had this question for last year as well, and I'm probably going to have the same answer because I still haven't seen a lot of Christmas movies. There's not a lot that I have watched. I got to be honest. I feel like I have to go and watch Polar Express because that's like
apparently Nick
that's
Anderson's jams.
That's a staple for Christmas movies. There's a lot that I haven't watched. For me, in my tastes and what it represents, and that I grew up with it, is my Christmas movie is always going to be The Nightmare Before Christmas.
And it's like it's barely a Christmas movie. I guess
it is a Christmas movie.
And they said that last year too.
It is both a Halloween and a Christmas movie, and you can watch it anytime between October to December. Or multiple times.
Ryan in the herd chat, Christmas Vacation. We just watched it too. Let's go, Christmas Vacation. That is my all-time
That's yours. Favorite. And Darren over here, It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life.
I also have never seen that one. So
gonna have to check it. You know what? It'll be cool. Die Hard.
I was waiting for the Die Hard to pop up.
I was waiting for it. Jingle All the Way by St. John here in the herd chat as well.
Well, there is a new movie out. I forgot what it was called. It's on Netflix. Carry On. It's called Carry On. And that supposedly is just as good as Die Hard. And it's also supposed to be a Christmas movie. So we may have to watch that.
Oh, Sean in the herd chat here, The Grinch with Jim Carrey. Yep, that is.
Okay, you know what? I have seen it. That is a good one. That I definitely enjoy The Grinch.
I like that.
That is a good one. And
I haven't seen Elf yet. Nobody said Elf. I like that. I like that. I feel like it's overplayed. Let's jam in because we have a little bit of time. This is crazy without all the ads and everything else. It's a quicker show. But what about question number 2? Not this one. What's the best Christmas song of all time?
Oh my God.
Let's hash it out. Best Christmas song.
Mariah Carey.
All I Want for Christmas is You. Mistress for Christmas by AC/DC. Mistress for Christmas. I'm a easy come, easy go.
Right. Yeah, no, that's a good one.
Slipping high, slipping low.
That is definitely a good one. I'm not sure. I feel like I have to get more into the Christmas spirit.
Elf is overdone. Check back in about 15 years. Thanks. Thank you, St. John. Thank you.
It really is. Yeah, I don't know about songs, to be honest.
Christmas songs, like Boney M. Christmas.
Michael Bublé has some solid ones. I agree.
Correct.
I have been on the lookout for a Michael Bublé Christmas record.
His Have a Holly Jolly
I love
Christmas.
It. You have your Christmas record that you like to play? I want to play some Bublé.
Okay, so just we got some time so we can talk about it.
Maybe it's cold outside.
Baby, it's cold outside. I say that on purpose sometimes. Pardon me. So there is this CD that we grew up with in Fort McMurray. My mom picked it up in Mariana Lakes back when they had the old gas station there. It was around I don't know, 7 or 8 or 9. And we found this CD. My sisters lost it. I will always forever just claim that my sisters lost it. It's always easier to blame your siblings. So anyways, they lost it. We lost this Christmas CD. It was a big deal. We've been looking for it for years. We had searched it. We Googled it. We've looked everywhere. And I think I was looking for it at around the same time I found it. What was once lost was suddenly found.
It was a Christmas miracle.
It was a Christmas miracle. I found the record and I played it. And I'll never forget the celly. Like, it's going to be like the same celly as like when the Double E win the Grey Cup next time.
Let me tell you that he went ahead and recorded the entire record with his cell phone so that he could send the audio files to his sisters.
And I did. If anybody wants the audio files of this Christmas record, it will change your life.
It is horrible.
There's a version of Patapan that is just beautiful.
It's satanic. It's the wrong type of Christmas.
Wow. Grandma got ran over by a reindeer. St. John here in the Herd chat. I like it.
That's a tune.
Blue Christmas by Elvis. That's a good one. That's a good one. Christmas Cookies by George Strait is pretty solid. Gonna have to check that. Gonna have to check. I'm sure I've heard it, Sean.
And gas station music, 100%.
100.
Like, listen, I haven't worked at a mall in, probably a long time, more than a decade. And so because I don't have to suffer through that horrible torture every time that I go to the mall now and they're playing Christmas music, I quite enjoy it. It's like, it's a vibe. It's a nice little jolly feeling that you get, but then you look at everybody else's faces, people that have worked there, full time, and they're there every single day, and you see how miserable they are. You're like, oh, okay, sorry.
My workplace has Christmas music going all the time, but unfortunately, like, I just catch it in small bits.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a banger.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it gets stuck in your head all day. And then sometimes it's annoying. It's all over the place, I would say. Do we have any other answers for favorite Christmas song? No?
I
Okay.
think that's it. Let's move on to the
final
good
question.
One. The good question.
The good question. Well, it's holiday season. They're all good questions, Catherine. You got the Santa hat on.
Don't tell Santa. Okay.
I'm
in the nice list, as far as I know.
I want books. Question number 2. Christmas is usually a special occasion on its own, but for CFL fans, a contract extension can be even more exciting during the holiday season. So, Elks fans, we got to know, who's on your Elks pending free agent Christmas wish list at this moment? And I'm just going to start off with Niles Morgan. Get that man re-signed. I've heard some rumblings that it may be happening. But let's take a look at the free agent list here. Herd chat, let us know. This is the last question of the night. Who do you want them to re-sign right now?
Yes.
And it's so funny. I was going to add Jake Serezna, just like, trade for Jake Serezna.
Oh my God, bring Serezna back. That is definitely, if I could ask anything to Santa, it would be to have Serezna back. But really, for me, selfishly, it might not happen really, realistically, is going to be Gino.
I like that.
Gino Lewis, because, he's such a joy to watch. He's such a dynamic player. He has some explosive plays.
And it's that 90-10 factor, right?
Oh, man, it's crazy. So watching him play is very, very exciting. And that is, that's my one that I want back selfishly, because I know it may not necessarily be realistic, but we'll see.
Hearing a lot of Gino to Calgary lately, and I think that kind of breaks my heart.
A little bit. That's like the worst place that he could go to.
But it's for him, plug and play with Vernon Adams makes a lot of sense, right?
Well, and like St. John says here, Gino would be nice, but we got to use him more. 100%. He was underused all the time. Yeah.
No, but the other problem too is that Ed Hervey finds receivers. Ed Hervey was a receiver. Ed Hervey finds receivers.
Right.
Ed Hervey knows how to pick those guys up. So, we'll see what happens with Gino.
Ryan agrees.
Yeah. Gino. Morgan. There's lots of Niles Morgan in here. Ryan also has Niles Morgan along with St. John. Who else?
It's Kai.
Kai Gray. I saw Tony Gray. I did not see Kai Gray.
No. Is he not?
Is he a Tony Gray? Unless, no.
No, he's not in the list. Interesting. What happened to Kai Gray?
Well, he's probably signed to one more year. Probably, yeah. David Foucault. What about Foucault? Foku, and yes, I see you in there, Darren. I also like that one, Ivy. Martez, Ivy.
Yes.
I believe he's actually, he might have had an NFL workout, I believe. I want to say. So Martez Ivy is huge. Definitely need him back. Ryan here, I feel Trey uses Geno more than MBT, so I think this would be a good year. That's very plausible. That's very plausible. He's too good to be underutilized like he was in his 2 years here. That was St. John. Yeah.
I agree.
So,
And that's kind of why I said selfishly.
yeah.
And that's why I said that it might not be realistic just because of how underutilized he's been for
Yeah.
how much money he's making, really. And the fact that we also have a very solid core of
Mhm.
receivers as well, right? So, like, what do you go for? Do you go for, a player that may be asking for a little bit too much but can perform? Or a couple of other players that don't ask for that much money but can also perform, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a weird spot to be in. So
Well, totally. Like, you know what? And speaking of which, AC Leonard is a free agent coming up here.
yeah,
AC Leonard held out, wanted more money, ended up
Mhm.
signing with the Double E in the end for probably significantly less.
yeah,
And now AC Leonard's on the wrong side of 30.
yeah.
Definitely on the wrong side of 30. Who knows what happens with AC Leonard? Would love to see him back at the right price, but it is what it is. Scott Hutter,
Mm,
big
yeah.
Double E guy, Canadian, former Queen Gale, one of the Gales. I really like Scott Hutter. I really want to see him return. And I believe that Scott Hutter does embody those Double E winning ways, the characteristics of a Double E, of a true Double E. True Double E. It's like when you collect all the Lego bricks in a Lego game and you're like true Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah. You collect all the
Oh
pieces
my
here in Edmonton,
goodness.
you're a true Double E. I love it. AC is a genetic freak.
I'm not sure what that means.
Well, no, because he's defying the age.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, and I mean he also
I was like,
is,
I don't know. Is he double jointed?
no, but he also plays on multiple sides of the
He
ball,
does.
right?
He does.
Scott Hutter is great for special teams and a good backup safety and halfback. Yes, I agree. Scott Hutter is a utility knife out there. He does what he's asked, so it'd be painful to see him move along. We signed JJ Lapp, who is a 4.5 40 wide receiver, former LA Ram, hands are outstanding. That's the Ed Hervey effect. Ed Hervey will find those guys. He will find the guys that are most likely going to go back to the NFL in a couple of years. But why? Because they did great things. I want to say Brandon Zylstra was an Ed Hervey, maybe Zylstra. I'll have to take a look at that because Zylstra was 2017. But and I mean Duke Williams as well kind of came along at around that time as well. Darrell Walker had NFL opportunities, and Darrell Walker was an Ed Hervey. So
okay. Who would you have at QB3?
oh, that's
Is
tough
Daggy?
right now.
Do we keep Daggy? I don't know if he's in the list, to be honest, but that just came to me because I did see Prukop. Prukop is in the free agents, but that's
Yeah,
that's
I
a-
mean
that's a
Prukop
short.
could, but Prukop has also never really done anything outstanding on his own.
Yeah, no, he was really good at the short yardage. He wasn't bad at it. So, but I don't know. Like, what do you do in that position?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. What do you do?
We'll see.
St. John also is clarifying that statement there. AC Leonard has also started as a wide receiver, has been used as a tight end, and plays D line. AC is insane. A CFL's Taysom Hill, also a utility knife. AC Leonard was out there catching trick plays from Taylor Cornelius. Did it like 3 times or something.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
That's why I was actually very surprised when we brought him back and he wasn't put in at all for the remaining of the season. Like they brought in AC Leonard, and I was like, "Where did he go?
Yeah.
What is he doing? Are we just paying him for absolutely nothing? Like we know that he can do some plays.
Right.
So what happened to him?
No, that's fair.
We'll see."
St. John also does mention about the Zylstra situation, which that's a whole different subject on its own. Zylstra has no love for the CFL or Edmonton. They really messed with his contract rights. and almost his
Mhm.
NFL opportunity. Yeah, I believe there was something weird there where they kind of axed his clause, or they signed him, but then when they signed him, Zylstra couldn't go down for an NFL opportunity immediately.
Mhm.
So there was something weird there. I recommend everybody goes and checks out that information. I don't know if Zylstra necessarily hates Edmonton, but yeah, the current regime at that time, or sorry, not the current, the regime at that time,
Right.
kind of did screw him around a little bit. And I will tell you right now, across the CFL, that kind of stuff does still happen. It's definitely not exclusive to Edmonton. That stuff does happen. People do, the GMs do try to keep players sometimes against their best wishes, and I will say right now, I really wish that didn't happen.
Mhm.
But that's the reality of the business. It's a business, like
Yeah.
Nick Anderson was saying earlier.
Yeah.
You do kind of have to understand the business side. Um, who knows where the flubs were and all of that? Agent might have had a little bit to do with that. Who knows, right? Who
Mhm.
knows? But yeah, I mean, he was definitely frustrated about that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
But
I would say the big. Sorry, yeah, you
no,
go
go ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you got
No,
this.
no, no,
No?
no, you go.
Okay. The biggest Christmas presents this year so far, um, especially in December, Javon Leake, Trey Ford, and then of
Yeah.
course Mark Killam, head coach. But really, when we're talking about free agents, Javon Leake, Trey Ford.
Yeah, Trey Ford was a big one, and I think just for the franchise itself. So that was I saw a whole bunch of people just being like, okay, now that he's signed, he's extended, I'm gonna go renew my
Mm-hmm.
season tickets. So the Elks knew what they were doing, and that
Yep.
was a good move. So that was a
Yep.
good Christmas present.
Well, and I mean, the organization really did need to keep Trey Ford,
Yeah.
right? Um, to prevent a sour scenario, to prevent a player from being sour, just like Brandon Zylstra and
Mhm.
that whole scenario that happened. And yes, Sinjin, Purifoy would love to see Purifoy
Yeah,
re-sign with the
Luch,
Edmonton
that'd be
Elks.
a good one too.
Yeah, no, that conversation with him, mentioned it a couple times on the show now, but he's nothing but the realist. He embodies that double E spirit, the double E winning ways. It's a big deal.
Mhm.
He takes it very, very seriously here in Edmonton. I don't know if he's moved out here yet, but he seems like the type to do so.
Right.
Would love to see him back in the green and gold. But like we said, the fact that Trey Ford is an Edmonton Elk right now, the fact that he's still with the
Mhm.
double E, it's crazy. And we did lose out on a potential Vernon Adams Jr., which St. John believes was the backup plan if Trey fell through.
Mhm.
I would say that that's correct, except for the one domino fell before the other. So as soon as Vernon Adams Jr. was with the Calgary Stampeders, boom, you knew that there was only one spot really for Trey to have a genuine starting chance.
Mhm.
Trey did say that he didn't want to come back to Edmonton.
Yeah.
Now, take it out of context how you will, but that's still his truth. He did not want to come back to Edmonton. Why? Because the organization screwed him around, signed him, drafted him 3 years ago. Haven't really played him properly. Haven't really given him, the proper development that he needed. Didn't really sign veteran quarterbacks in the way you should have for those scenarios. I will say that. You don't
Mhm.
sign an MBT when you're giving the guy the keys, and you don't go back on your commitments.
Mhm.
Even in just everyday real life, you're as good as your word. We
Right.
we deal with it at Shotgun Sports Network on the business side. We deal with it at the Elks Herd for multiple things. Um, one less down. Now that Canada Post is no longer striking, we're gonna get you your package now, and it will include the CFLPA hat. But if we say we're gonna do something, we have to do it. Chris Jones said he was giving Trey Ford the keys, and then he pulled them away. That's why we're seeing so many people now saying, "Oh, the organization's screwing over Trey again." It's because people have lost trust,
Right. Yep. I
right?
agree.
It's just like Sinjin said. Oh, CFL is a business, but sometimes it's done in toxic and exploitive ways, right? We didn't want to see that happen again with Trey Ford.
Mhm.
And I mean, I know that you're referring to the Brandon Zylstra incident. but it does really apply to every single team, every single regime, every single season. Um, we didn't want to lose Trey Ford. So, Elks fans, rejoice. Our Christmas miracle is probably that. Getting Javon Leake and Justin Rankin back in the same running back room, that's crazy. This team is going to be explosive in 2025.
Yeah.
And before we get there to 2025, we have one last giveaway at the end of the show here. Let's go
Which
ahead.
is now.
Well, let's close the fan forum first. We're going to
Mhm.
close it for the last time in 2024. Very exciting. Thanks everybody for
Wild.
participating tonight. This was awesome. This was awesome. And now we do have our last giveaway. It's 2 tickets, not to Paradise. 2 tickets to the January 24th Edmonton Oil Kings versus Moose Jaw Warriors game at Rogers Place. This one's very special because this is the Oil Rumble 2.
That's cool.
Oil
I
Rumble
didn't
2
know that.
put on by Love Pro Wrestling, which is actually one of our partners. And even more special, our own sports journalist, Len Noons, supplied these tickets.
That's
So,
thank you, Len.
yeah, we're going to give a little one of these. And what about good guy Len for hooking everybody up with a chance? Also, everybody.
That's a cool one. I want to go to that one.
Yeah, see, exactly. We went last year. Louis from the Top Rope. One of my favorite mascots in the city is Louis the Lion, and he dropped like a pile driver or something like that. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was good.
But Oil Rumble 2, once again, these tickets are provided by Shotgun Sports Network's very own Len Noons. So if you would like to enter for these tickets, 2 tickets to the Oil Rumble 2, happening on January 24th at Rogers Place, you're going to text Rumble, like the old Dodge Rumblebee.
Rumble. RUMBLE.
Are you ready to rumble? I thought that's what you were going for, and then you were like M. I was like, oh, no, that's not it. But 780-307-7779, right up above here. You're going to text Rumble to 780-307-7779. We've seen your entries rolling in all night. Keep them coming. We're going to cut off this contest on Sunday. So you might be finding out if you want a prize by Christmas.
Yay. Just another little Christmas present.
Another Christmas miracle. So once again, if you have not watched the full episode, we encourage everybody to watch the full episode, especially this holiday special, because there is 3 giveaways hidden in this show, and not even really hidden, they're announced, but if
you know them,
you know what we're trying to do here. We're trying to get you to go back and watch it, but no, definitely enter for all of them. And if you subscribe to Shotgun Sports Network, send us some proof that you subscribe. We will enter you in one of the giveaways. Please indicate which giveaway you would like to enter your extra entry for with subscribing to Shotgun Sports Network on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think that's it. Fan forum's closed. Nick Anderson is has already returned once, and he's not returning again. So I think we're safe to shut down this episode. And this is the last one for 2024. So very, very special. The first person we're going to thank, Nick Anderson, for joining us tonight. That was, that conversation with Nick Anderson was absolutely amazing. He's such a fantastic guy. Like to also give Mike Arcuri over at the Edmonton Elks one of the biggest thanks for this season. Hernan as well. Hernan Salas, I know he's over at EST now, but Hernan and Mike have been fantastic in dealing with us. They do not need to approve our media requests. So very, very thankful for that. Catherine, I'd like to thank you for being such a fantastic co-host.
And I'd like to thank you.
for not screwing it up. What about our viewers, though? What about the viewers? We see you. We got quite a few live viewers right now at the end of our show. It's been an hour 45, and you guys have been riding with the herd. We can't thank you enough. Ryan, Daryl, Darren. We got Ken in here on any given day. John did not make it in tonight. Like John's a busy guy apparently.
Yeah, he is.
But he's been in here most shows. Sinjin, can't forget Sinjin. Who else off the top?
No, we have a lot. We had Marsha at the beginning.
Oh,
saying
Marsha. We saw
hi,
Marsha Jackson.
Of course.
Clay of Argos Fancast. By the way, there's going to be
Love it.
some Argos Fancast news, and it might have to do with Shotgun Sports here coming up.
Mhm.
Stay tuned for more on that. We do have a very exciting off season for everybody. Shotgun Sports Network is expanding. So we do have maybe potentially a couple more shows joining the network, some increased visibility, more articles. Like I think we had a crazy amount of articles. The Sylvan Lake Gulls have been sharing our stuff. So we can't do this without the fans. It's for fans, from fans. That's always our motto. And we do this for you, with you. I don't like hearing myself talk, but people enjoy this kind of information, and I actually learn a lot through the shows as well. So
Definitely.
everybody, thank you so much for being. This is that applause. That applause is for you, the viewer, the listener. Um, you know, Calvin's. There's so many people that tune into the show that we wish we could individually thank, but if we did miss you, please know we see you, we thank you, and your support means the world. To our sponsors and our partners, also got to say a big thanks to them. Royal Retros has been huge for us this year. They came through with these hats for you guys. We gave them the plan, and they're like, yeah, get the hats into the hands of the fans. So Royal Retros is huge. Lather, we're gonna see what 2025 holds for Lather. We'll see how that front is, but Lather's also been really supportive this year as well. So really thankful for them. Edmonton Elks, their support has always been fantastic. So we've thanked them a couple times tonight. But yeah, that's a 2024.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap, not a wrap. So 2024, everybody, this was fantastic. This season for us is officially over. We will be back in late January for some free agent action. The free agency special. Just talked with our good friend Avery, and he may be joining us for that one to talk some heavy. See if Marsha comes through. See, I get too excited when I see the herd chat.
Yeah.
I get so excited.
Reel
it in. Another awesome podcast, another great season. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thank you, Marsha. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody else. Like we said, in 2025, which is technically next year, we will have our free agent special. So join us for that. Until then, we hope everybody has a great time for the rest of 2024. We got Christmas. May you celebrate Hanukkah, New Year's, whatever you are celebrating this season. Make sure you celebrate it safe. Don't drink and drive. Get yourself a ride share home, or get yourself a safe ride home anyways. And we will be releasing a best of series. So keep an eye out for those episodes coming out very soon. But ladies and gentlemen, for the last time this year, my name is Scout, aka the Rep from Section X.
And I'm Catherine, aka Do You Even Elks?
We are the Elks Herd. This was the Elks Call, and we will see everybody next year for our free agent special. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Cheers, everybody.
Have a good night.